Hi folks, my name's Andrea Brown, swim mum, and right now I am up to my eyeballs in my son's GCSE revision. And a number of people have reached out to me and just asked for some advice on that. So I thought I would share what has worked for us and give you a couple of tips and tricks. So the first thing is this is so individual, right? Every student and every young athlete will be approaching this from a different position. So all of your aspirations, what level you're at and how confident you feel in your academics in general will be different. Also, your swimming journey, you may be rooting and trying to get to county level or trying to get to regionals or just trying to get the next PB, or you may be aiming for nationals this year. And depending on what those goals are will really have a significant effect on how potentially disruptive all of this revision and exams might be. So please just bear all of that in mind as you listen to the rest of this. So I do think I've got a couple of things that might be helpful though. So the first thing is start early. So, yeah, I know if you're in the middle of this right now, you're not going to want to hear that, and that's probably not going to help at all. Sorry about that. But if you are having exams that are yet to come, I think that's going to be helpful. So when I say start early, I really mean right after summer of the year before. So around September, October time at the latest. And you've just got to plan it out. So, you know, if you don't do things on purpose, they often just won't happen. Family life is busy and other things will get in the way. And before you know it, mocks happen in sort of December or January timeframe. And then boom, you're at the Easter holidays. And before you know it, the exams are here. So don't let them creep upon you. Plan it out, you know, how many hours have you got each week starting in September? When are those hours going to be that you can do this extra revision? And the main reason for that is because you simply don't have the time that a lot of other non-competitive swimmers, just regular students, have, because they will be planning to do the revision or scrambling or catching up in the Christmas holidays, the Easter holidays, at half terms, but you won't. You'll be at a gala or you'll be at counties that whole weekend and things like that. So that's where the anxiety and the stress can come in, is really, oh my goodness, I've got so much content and not enough time to cover it. Well, we do have time. We just need to plan it in and start early. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is, no, I have not redecorated my office, but this is my new favorite thing, are these giant post-it notes. So we've got loads of them. And what we did was Jack reduced all of the things that he was revising down to keywords or key phrases or the start of a quote or a one word that would then prompt him to remember the rest of a quote, and stuck that on a post-it note. So I think behind me we've got lots of Jekyll and Hyde and some inspectacles and things like that, but it was just easy. So the bulk of the heavy lifting in terms of remembering, going back over this content that you've learned for a couple of years, reducing it down, getting those onto post-it notes, that was all done really before the mock exams, before December. So that was done. And then going into the new year, what I would do all the time is we'd be off somewhere and I would just grab one, I'd get in the car and I'd give it to him and say, right, tell me about that. What do you remember about that? And if he forgot, no problem, right? Just have a look at your notes, prompt your memory, or look it up. It doesn't matter. It's just to have that ongoing recall. And, you know, when we were away at galas for a weekend or we had to go away to regionals, instead of taking tons of books and all the rest of it, we just took these post-it notes with us. We did revision in the car. And I always think if they can talk it to you, they can write it. So at this point, it didn't matter that we weren't doing past papers all the time. We love those and we do a lot of them, but in lieu of those, or in lieu of buying all those really expensive revision guidebooks, if you've got your own revision cards really, then that's something that was helpful. So that's my tip on that. The other thing is to really have collaboration with the school. So if you've watched the documentary or read the ebook, you know that we're really hot on that, and it can make such a difference to have that good communication with your school. So I would even start that as early as, that sort of September, October timeframe. Talk about what your academic schedule's like, what your athletic schedule's like, and get the support from your teachers. If you haven't seen it, there's some template letters for you to give as a swimming family to the school that just educates them on some of the things that might be helpful for you and ways that they can support. So remember, school won't know. They're not living your world. They don't understand about all of this unless you share it with them and tell them. But schools, in my experience, once you've done that, can be really helpful and accommodating. So please reach out to them. And then, this is your swimmer, your young person. And sometimes, you might have to look at things like dropping a subject. That was one of the things that we did. I know schools aren't a big fan of that, and it's not for everybody. And I'm not saying that everybody go out there and start dropping subjects, but my goodness, I'm not in a competition with who can have the most GCSEs out here. My competition is how can I have the happiest child, right? Who, yes, achieves academically, yes, achieves athletically, but at the end of the day, what's most important to me is that they're happy. So we drop Spanish, and it's just not the end of the world. So figure out what that looks like for you and have that really close collaboration with the school. The other area that you have to really collaborate with is your coach, right? So I know that coaches really hate it when students just drop off the planet when it comes to exam time. And I've heard parents say to me, oh, we're really academic and we want our kid to do well, so we're just going to pack it in with swimming for this 3 months and then we'll pick it up later. I personally don't agree with that route for a couple of reasons. One is that my swimmers are really used to swimming, both mentally and physically. So if they suddenly stop, that doesn't actually do them any favors, and they drive me mad, but it doesn't do them any favors. So they are used to early mornings. And actually, when they come out of swimming, they are super alert, their brains are switched on, and they often do really well, and they're used to that as a behavior, right? So for us, we have not dropped sessions. We missed one because it was last minute. We suddenly found out that it was poetry. But other than that, we've just tried to plan it in and not miss out sessions. So you need to figure out what's for you. For sure, if you do miss sessions, that is likely to have a detrimental effect on some of your athletic things that are coming up. So if you've got regionals coming up and you drop all your sessions and to concentrate on the mock exams, it may have a detrimental effect on that. And similarly, if you drop sessions really so that you can focus on exams in the May, and you're heading for nationals, you're going to be behind, right, as you try and scramble and catch up to get that endurance and so on ready for nationals. So every swimmer's different. You need to do what's best for you. But I think this is a message to parents not to be paranoid about it, not to think that you have to pull back. Maybe speak to your coach, find out where you can pull back if your swimmer's struggling. And hey, why not give it a go during the mock exams and speak to the school staff and say, hey, we're going to try this out. We're not sure how they're going to be, but we'll use this mock exam period to see, well, what happens if we just stick to our normal schedule. So I think if you do all of those things, start early, make sure you're collaborating with school and with your coaching staff, then I think you will be in good shape. So I know that the exam period can be a super stressful time, whether you're doing SATs or you're doing GCSEs or A-levels or anything in between. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and I wish all of you out there the very best of luck with all your exams.